Let's start merging the branches. So I start from the bottom. See, I don't see any changes. So whenever you create a pull request, there should be some changes. Otherwise, it's useless. I'm closing this request since there are no changes. Okay, let's see who is this one. Sai Shankar. Okay, so he is put inside his folder. That's good. I will merge his request. Positioning. And this is Ram. Okay. Okay, this is Nitesh. Okay, I merged all the requests. So let's start a new branch today. For today, okay, I'll do git pull for the from the main branch. So today I'll ask questions on the flex box and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so what was the last project we did? Okay, let me see. Okay, let's see what we did last time. Okay, let me scan this one. Okay. Okay, so we did the positioning. So let's start with the project 6. For that, I'll create a new branch. Today is, what is today? July 7th. Okay, and I will save this file as number 5, 7, and here also 07. So whatever we'll do today. Okay, so let me revise something what we did. Okay, give me 1 minute. I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, so let's start revision, and I will ask questions uh, you to answer in the chat. Okay, so we did three type of positioning. First one was box modeling, and then second one was flex, and third one was positioning, and in that we have absolute and relative. Okay, so the first question on the box modeling, what are we trying to achieve here? What is the main purpose of box modeling? What things we do, what changes we do on a particular element? Can anyone tell me? Space around the element. Okay, so one question answer is space around the element. Any other answer? Any other answer? To avoid creating extra space around the element. Okay, so Nitesh is saying, and let's write the answer. Space around element, and Ola is saying avoid creating extra space. Okay, okay, margin and padding. Okay, so in box modeling we are basically trying to achieve the spacing around the element by using margin, padding, and setting the border also. So three things we do in the box modeling: margin, padding, and border. So in general we have the content. Outside content, what is outside the content or around the content, what is it called? Is it called margin, padding, or border? Around content, it's called padding. Nitesh is saying padding, right? True. And outside padding, what is it? Is it margin or border? Outside padding, is it margin or border? Border. It's a border, not the margin. Margin comes outside the border. So outside border, what is it? It's margin. Okay, so we have to set the margin. If we have to give the space between the two elements, we use the margin. But if we want to set the space around the content, we use the padding. And if we need border, we use the border. Okay, let's talk about the flex direction. So generally, in the flex direction is one of the most important thing we have to remember. What are the different types of flex direction? What are the different types of flex direction? Row and column. Row and column. So when we go for mobile, that is React Native, what is default flex direction? Column. We will not talk about web now, though in the web the default is row, but I don't want to go into depth of that one. Okay, and we can change from row to column anytime whenever we want. There are two most important properties. So either in the flex world, in the web, we have to define flex purposely, like we have to say display flex. Okay, but in the mobile React Native, we don't have to mention this line. It's by default. So by default, we have display equal to flex. Okay, so we don't have to mention it everywhere. So whenever a view is created, it has the default property of display flex. So now we have the parent and then we have the child. What are the important properties? One of the important properties of the parent is flex direction, which we wrote here. What are the two other important properties of flex for the parent? Justify content. Okay, one is justify content. What is another? Align items, right. Next is align items. And for the child, what are the two important properties we have to understand in the React Native? Align self, right, align self. And what is another property? So one of the important properties align self for the child, and another is, have I told you about grow? Did I said anything about grow last time? What is another child property? One of the properties is align self. What is another one? No. Justify item is not the important property which I explained last time. Okay, no one knows the answer? Okay, so another property is the flex one. So one property is flex, another is align self. Now, in the justify content, what is the default justify content if I don't specify anything? If I don't specify flex start is the default property. And what is the default for the align items? Stretch is the default one, right? What are the other properties of the justify content? What other things we can define? One is the flex start. What are the other things? Center, okay. Flex end, okay. What else? Center is already space around. What else? Flex start is already there. Space between. Okay, what else? Space evenly. Space evenly. Oh, man. Let's see what happened. Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, my computer got shut off suddenly. I don't know why. I restarted it. Okay, let me scan again. Okay, low voice. I will be little near to this. Can you hear me now? Is voice clear now? Okay. Okay, so we have these options for the justify content. What are the options for the align items? Can anyone tell me? What are the, there are many, but I have four important, align item options. What are those? Center. Okay, yeah, center is one. Any other? One is stretch. One is center. What else? Flex start. What else? Okay, flex end. Right. So these are the important ones. Now another question is, let me draw something and I'll ask you. Okay, so we are talking the flex direction of column. So that means we have the box one above each other column. When I talk about justify content, okay, first tell me what is the main axis, whether the main axis is from top to bottom or from left to right in case of the column. What is the main axis? Main axis is from top to bottom in case of the column, flex direction column. And this is the main axis and this is a cross axis. So justify content is tied to main action or the cross action. Main axis. Justify content is tied to main axis. That means if I give the space evenly, space will be between these two. And if I do flex start, it will start from here top. If I give flex end, it will be here. And if I give center, it will be here. Because justify content is tied to main axis, and therefore if I give some property of justify content, it will be tied to top to bottom. It will move from top to bottom. And align items is always tied to cross axis. So if I give any align item, it will be applied to cross axis in this diagram. Okay, let's go further now. Okay, so align item justify content is along the main axis, and this align items is along the cross axis. That means justify content is from top to bottom in case of column flex direction, and here it will be left to right in case of column flex direction. Okay, now let's go to the child flex property. What does the flex property does? What does the flex property does? It is applied to child, and then what it will do? I'm talking about the flex direction column. Let's talk about flex direction column. because it's a default. Yeah, Nitesh is right. Ratio of space. So it gives the space, depending on what flex I mentioned. If I give 1, 1, 1, so it will occupy whole of the space equally among the three elements. If I give 2, 3, 1, so it will give accordingly, proportionately 1, 2, and 3 the space, occupied by the element. So either 1 or 2 or 3. And what does the align self does? What does align self does? It overrides the align item. So whatever property I have assigned here, it will overwrite that property. Overwrite the align item properties. So if I mention a stretch and there are three elements, three will get stretch, and one of the element has aligned self of flex start, so it will get that flex start for that element. Others will get stretch. Let's talk about positioning. So when I say relative position and I give, let's say, top or left, and let's say we have three elements and we assign position relative to let's say second element. So second element will move. Let's say if I say top, so it will move top 10 units. Okay. What will happen to other two elements? Whether they will be in the same position or it will change the position. What will happen to other two elements? Will they remain in same position or change position because of this property? So either it's a 1 or 2. Will they remain same or change position? It will remain same position. So yeah, it will remain in the same position, not change position. So if I have element, let me explain you in the diagram. So if I have element 1 and 2 and 3, and if I assign this to relative position, and if I give top 10, this box will move little bit down 10 units, but these two boxes will remain same at the same position. Whereas if I give this to absolute position, then it will not consider this box in the space. So that means the third box will move up and take this space. And this box which has the absolute position will be, will be changed its position based on the parent. So let's say parent is here and I give the right of 0. That means this element will move here right of 0 here. So this element which I have given absolute position will change its position based on the parent's location, and other two elements will join together because they will not think that this second box exists anywhere in the space. Okay, so what in short we'll say, in case of absolute position, the element 2 will change its position with reference to parent, and other two elements will not consider second element in the space. Okay, they will think, that this is dead. This is dead. So this box will move up. Okay. Whereas in case of relative, okay, let me draw again. So let's say in case of relative, if I give position top 10, these two will think that this box 2 still exists in the space. So they will keep the space of the box 2, and then they will remain in their own position. They will not take the position of the child 2 in case of relative. But in case of absolute, they will think that this child 2 is dead. So the third box will move to the second box. So child third will think that this is does not exist in the space, and so it will move up. So it will move up. Okay, so this is the simple explanation I can give. Okay, now we will make one project based on what we learned, and I will ask questions in it, and then I will also explain the state and props today, which will help you to understand. Maybe if today we don't have time, I'll take tomorrow. Let's see how much we can do. Okay, so let's create one more sixth project, new folder, project 0006. Okay, let's add it in the home. And let's go to add in the app.js. Okay, so let's go to project 6. Right now project 6 is this simple text. Now I will be asking questions, and then you need to answer that one. Okay, so let me put something in the project 6. So we see this project 6 is here, and I will attach the border, so you will see how the project 6 look. So let's add the border to it so that we can understand what things are going on. So I will say style equal to styles.container. I just created a container which I have to create in the styles. So container is the object I created in the styles, and this styles is applied to the style of the view property of the project 6. Now let me add the border so you will see what's happening. Okay, so you have seen this is the black as occupying the whole space, and to the project 6, since the default property is stretch for the line item, so it is stretching the whole width. Now I want to take this whole box to cover the whole of the screen, whole of the width. Right now you will see it's only occupying this small space, this black border. I want to occupy this whole of the view. So what should I add it here so that I can get the whole of the view? What property? Height. We don't know the height of this one. Generally, we can know by using the dimension. If I add the dimension, dimensions, I can know what is the height of the whole screen. For example, I will do console.log. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so you will see the height is this one. I can find the height using the dimension, but let's say I don't want to use this one. So how can I cover this black box to whole of the screen without using this height, which we can get it here? So there is one option. I can give the height of this one. Okay, I can give height of this one. Then you will see the border is occupying the whole of the width, whole of the height. But let's say I don't want to use this one. So what thing I can change so that it can occupy the whole of the height? Flex equal to 1. Okay, so this is the property which we have to assign. It's called the flex ram ran para. Ram has given the correct answer. So if I give the flex of 1, you will see it has taken the whole of the height. Okay, so this is the right answer. We have to give this one. Now what I want is I want some of the things at the top, some of the things at the bottom, and major content of my work will be in the center. Okay, so I will create 3 view. Let's say I will create 3 view. One is the top one, and then second is the middle one where my whole content will come. This is top one, and this is the bottom one. Let me give some style to each one. Bottom, okay, so we have top, and then there is a project which will be the major space in between, and then there is a bottom one. Okay, so now the thing is that I need, let me put the border for each one. Okay, let's put the styles for this one. Style equal to styles dot content. Okay, my content will come in between. Okay, now the next challenge is I need to put border so we know what's happening. So in the content, I will put the border of blue, for example. So content is blue with the border thickness of 1. Let's put in the top one, I will put red. And in the bottom one, I will put green. Let's make it little bit thicker. Okay, let me increase the size so you can see. Okay, I increase the size. Is it good now? Okay, so let's put green and let's put 2. Okay, now another question is, I want to move this bottom at the bottom, and this middle one, project 6, should take the whole of the space in between. Okay, so what should I do so that make it like this, that top one should take the whole top space, bottom should take the bottom one, middle part should be given to this content, that is the project 6. Let me rename it to content. Okay, So can anyone tell me what should I do? Okay, justify content space between is not the right answer. I need someone to think and tell me the right answer. Gap, generally gap doesn't work in the React Native. And gap is not the right answer. Even if it works, it is not the right answer. Align self. Align goes from left to right. So it will not occupy the middle space. Align does not go from top to bottom, and we have to give the space to the middle content. So align self will not work. Any other answer? Okay, justify content will only give the space between the elements, but we have to take the middle portion, the middle part, to cover the whole of the space of the screen. Content should take the whole space. So justify content will not work. We are not giving the space between. Yes, flex equal to 1. So since content has to, Kate has given the right answer. Since the content has to take the major space on the screen, so we will give the flex of 1 to the content. So to content, I will add flex of 1. So if you see, since I add the flex 1, you will see the content is taking the whole space, and the top is at the top and bottom is at the bottom. And the top will take as much space as we give. So let's say if I put 3, so top is increasing the space based on the content we have. But the center part is taking the whole of the space which we want. Now, I have to create the row and column here. So there will be, maybe I can explain you in the diagram what I mean by it. So in the content, I want like this. Okay, so we have to make, this is the row and this is the column. So we have to make like this one. So let me put the, the HTML part, you can say, in where it is HTML part, and then you have to tell me what changes I do for each one. Okay, so let me write down the text, the HTML part. I don't know what it is called, but let's consider HTML part. So before writing anything at this one, before writing anything inside it, let's move this top to in its own own component. I will create constant top equal to, and I will say constant bottom equal to, let's put in its own component, and bottom will go in its own component, and I will here call it as top component, and here I will call it as bottom component. Okay, so the looks will be similar to what we have previously. Now in the content part, I have to create rows, and then in each row I have to put 3 column. Okay, so let me delete this content for now, and here I will create one view. View where I will say style equal to, okay, let's not put the styles for now. So this is the one row at the top one. Okay. And then in that row, I have to put three columns. So it will be view. So three columns in first row. Same thing I will repeat. Okay. So this is the first row. Top three content. Maybe I'll say row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2, row 1, column 3. So this will come in the top row. And this is the row 2, column 2. This is row 2, column 2. This is row 2, column 3. Okay, so this is the row 2 will come. Now this is the third one. This is the row 3, 3, 3. Okay, so now let's create one style which will be applied to rows, styles.row. And let's consider each view as column. So I'll say styles.column. So I will create two style sheets. One is called the row and one is the column. Okay, let's put this one. Column will be applied to all the columns. And row 1 will be applied to all the rows. Okay, let me delete the border from this one so that you can understand what we are trying to do. Okay, so we don't have border for top and bottom, and let's put the border for the row. Okay, so it's 1 and black. So I put for the row. Okay, row is the black, and for each column also let's put some red color so you can see the difference. Okay, let's remove the row 1 and see how it looks. So you will see for each column we have a red color border. Now I want to put column 1, 2, 3 in the first row, column 1, 2, 3 in the second row, and 1, 2, 3 in the third row. How can I achieve that? Can anyone tell me? First aim is I want to put column 1, 2, 3 in the one row only. Like direction column. No, I don't know if it's, yeah. So just tell me, I want to put in the row 1, I want to put column 1, 2, 3 in same line. Flex direction row. Okay, this is right answer. Flex direction row. Ram has given the right answer. So if I say flex direction of row, you will see column 1, 2, 3 comes in the first line, and for the second it comes in the second line, third it comes in the third line. Okay. Now second aim is, if you see if you see this, this is ending here. I want to take the whole of the space. Okay, it should take whole of the space. What should I do? See, right now column 1, 2, 3 T is up till here. Okay, flex of 1. Okay, that is, no, flex does not have the stretch property. Flex is only 1 or 2. So we have to say flex of 1. Okay, so I'm giving the row. Row is wrong. We have to give in the column. So it's taking the whole of the space. Now I have to take this, it's only taking the top 3 rows. I want to take it the whole space till bottom, till this bottom text. So what should I do? I want to take this, this red thing to cover till bottom. So it should take, the top one should take 1/3 space, bottom one should take the 1/3 of space, last one should take 1/3 of the space. Flex of 1, just now it happened. If I say flex of 1, so it will take whole of the space to cover the top to bottom. Okay, and so in the top I can write anything, in the bottom I can put anything, and we can go with whatever you want. If you want, you can give the flex to the column 2 of 3 or 4, then the middle column can become in the bigger width of it. So but right now it's okay, whatever I want to achieve it. Okay, now what I'll do, I will put this column part in separate component. I will call it as card, and I will return this one. And here I will say, I will pass. Okay, so this is the text, and let's not pass anything now. Okay, let's put it like this. And instead of these 3 things, I will call card. Okay, so let's call the card. Okay, so the looks doesn't change, but we have replaced it in the separate component. Now instead of putting hardcode value here, I will pass some value from card to here. So to pass value from one to this component, this is the component, then we pass the values like here as attributes. For example, I will say text equal to row 1, column 1. Okay, and I want to get this text here in the card. So I will call text here. This is called the props. I am passing the props here, and I am retrieving the props here. So I am passing the text equal to row 1, column 1, and I am retrieving the text here. I can add more things here also, like name equal to ABC. Then I can retrieve name also here. This is called props, passing from parent to child component. But we don't need name now, but I'm just showing you, you can add n number of props here. So let's delete this props one. I will only pass text, and I will display text here. So instead of hard-coded value like this, I will pass the text in the curly bracket. So whenever variable comes from the parent or somewhere like this, I have to display variable in the curly bracket in React. If you don't know React, just I'm repeating this thing. Otherwise, this is the simple React syntax. So you will see I pass row 1, column 1 for the first one. So only I am able to display it here in this card. Let's do it for other one. So it is column 2, 3, column 2, and column 3. Yes, so we are done with our layout kind of thing, where we have the top part and bottom part, and we have used the flex only in displaying this layout. We will be doing a lot of the layouts. This is the one of the simplest layout. Now we have done it, but there we will be going through a lot of different layouts and how to achieve each layout with in the React Native. We will be going through that exercise in following months. Okay, now layout is done. Let me add one thing, but I will complete it tomorrow. Okay, let me add one thing and then we can continue tomorrow. So if you see, I will add the text box. So in web world, we have the input, but in the React Native, we have to use the text input for displaying the text box. Okay, so I will copy the text box and I will, okay, so let's start with the text input. I will do manually. So here I imported style sheet, text and view. We have to import the text input also. And in the top I will say enter first name. Okay, what I'm asking user to put the enter first name, and here I will put the text input. Now we have to give some properties to the text input, like style. I'll give some style to text input. Styles.input. I will create one of the style for the text input. Now you will see the text box is not visible because we have to give the border. Otherwise, if we don't give border, it will be not visible. So let's make it visible by giving some border. I will say border width equal to 1, border color equal to #000 black color. Now you will see the border is here. Do you see the border? Let's give some margin of 10 pixel. So we will get our text input, and then I will also give the padding of 10. So we increase the size because of padding. And if I type something, okay, so it's coming in black color. If it comes in the white color, I can change the color also to black or whatever I want it. Okay, so I say enter first name. This enter first name on the extreme left side is little not good. I will move this to I'll move this to 10 pixel on the left side. So let's give this, I can create a, new style for this also. Styles.text. So I will give text margin of 10 so that it should also be at the level of the text box. Or I can give margin left of 10 and margin top of 10. Okay, so this is fine. Same thing, I will repeat this text input to the bottom. Here I will say enter last name. Generally people don't put first name up and last name below, but my exercise is little different. I'm just putting one text box at the top, one text box at the bottom. Generally we have button at the bottom. If you press, the form will get submitted. But my drill is not to submit this form. I have another thing to show, that is state and props. That's the reason I created one at the top, one at the bottom. So we have different more parameters or attributes for the text input, which we can see here. So like we have the style, we have on change text, we have value, we have placeholder, we have the keyboard type. There are a lot more. If you go through this page, you will see a lot of options are there. Though we will not go through each of the options, but we'll go tomorrow only the important options which are needed for this exercise. Okay, rest options we can go gradually in future whenever the time will come and whenever the project requires those things to be done. Otherwise, only I will concentrate on the important things which we can use it in our this small project. Okay, so we can do a lot of things. You can see here, complete list of things are there. About 150 things are there which you can provide to this in the text input. Okay, so we can do anything on this text input. Right now we will not do all the things. Okay, so this is the exercise which we did. What we did is we created a top part, we created the bottom part, and we have the content. And we have the one text input at the top and one text input at the bottom. And tomorrow we will manipulate with the state variable to see how to capture first name, last name, and pass that first name, last name in this, in this row 1, column 1, and row 2, column 2. So the idea is take the variable from here, show it in the one of the boxes. Take the last name from here, show it in the boxes. So that is the exercise which we will be doing tomorrow. So for today, this is the only thing we have done it. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, let me commit it. Let's layout. Okay, I have to call this one. I will not create PR today, pull request today, because this project is not yet 100% completed. So tomorrow when I'll be done, I'll create a PR request. But right now you can see my changes. If you want to see my changes, you can see here in this changes one. No, not this one. Yeah, here it is. You can see all my changes. I can give you in the chat, which you can see if you want to refer my code. Okay. Otherwise, I will create a PR tomorrow, and it will merge to the main branch tomorrow. Any questions? Okay, so let's complete the state variable tomorrow. And today we have done the flex layout with the props. Tomorrow I'll explain the state variable more in detail who don't know in the React world. Otherwise, I have already explained the state variables when I was taking the React class. Okay, so we'll repeat the state part and we'll see how to capture the state variable from the top one, bottom one, and show it in the content.